Brady not holding back last night when he got asked about his plans for the future on the Let's Go podcast last night. What does next season hold? Take a listen.
Jim, if I knew what I was do, I'd have already done it. Okay? I'm taking it a day at a time.
I sense you're antagonized by the question.
You're scratching.
It's only the question that everybody wants to hear.
You're scratchy. I appreciate your asking. Thank you.
All right, so the waiting game continues. Shannon, what do you make of Tom Brady's answer?
If I knew Jid, I'd have already effing said it.
Yep. That's a good answer.
Skip, clearly he's frustrated. The season did not go as he anticipated.
No.
He came back for one simple reason. And you said he came back for one simple reason, to right the wrong that had happened against the Rams. He was, 7, 8, 9, 10 seconds away from getting this game into overtime.
He was.
They clearly had the momentum. They get the ball first. There's no question in my mind. They're going to go down and get a touchdown because
And that's against the eventual champions.
the eventual Super Bowl champs.
Yep.
So he's looking at it like, damn, this is when I came back. Now, Skip, I'm not going to address what transpired off the field. Only he and his wife know how long that had been brewing.
Right.
Maybe that played a role. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was already going to come to a dead end. I don't know. But I'm just talking about his football. And I think that's what Jim Gray, what's next? Hell, I don't know. Considering how the season ended, I might end my career. Then again, I still think I might have some good football to play, get into the right situation. I believe I can help a team get to the ultimate destination, which is land in the Super Bowl and possibly go win it.
Yep.
Clearly, he's very agitated by the fact that Jim is asking him, and like Jim said, that's the question everybody wants to know. We can't ask you, about preparation for next week or a championship game because that's done. And you're going to be 46 when the season starts. Do you want to play? And so I think the thing is, Skip, you don't return to go 8-10, the first losing season of your career. Have a 53 QBR, which is the lowest since 2006.
Yep.
6 multi-touchdown games, which is the fewest since your rookie season. 31 incompletions in a wild card game. That's the most in your playoff career. That's not what you come back for.
Yep.
As you mentioned, his peers voted him the number one player of 100. He was number one. And I'm not so sure.
Going into last
Going
year.
into the last. I'm not so sure if they have the vote again. He's going to be in the top 20, maybe not even in the top 30. So, Skip, look, and we're just 2 years removed from the Super Bowl.
Yep.
We're just a year removed where he had one of his most prolific seasons of his career. And to follow that up with this, so he's agitated by the fact that the season, or nothing that he really had hoped at the end of 2022 and 2023, has gone according to plan.
Yep.
And so he's very, very disappointed. He's very frustrated, to say the least, because for him, he and Jim Gray got a great relationship.
They do.
I don't know if he'd be doing this podcast with anybody else other than Jim Gray.
I agree.
So with that being said, for him to snap and to lash out at Jim, line of questioning, because I don't think it was out of line, Skip. It wasn't asking like, are you dating anybody? So I'm like, no, fair, Skip.
No.
It wasn't like he said something like that.
No.
But clearly, it shows the level of agitation, the level of frustration, and the level of disappointment that he had with this season.
The first order of business here is, it's your podcast, Tom, so don't you plan it a little bit? Don't you and Jim have a little off-air conversation about where are we going to go tonight? Right. Well, I'm going to ask you this, and this.
Or
right?
you can do like Jerry and Steven, cancel your appearances for today, or do like an Aaron Rodgers, not say, oh, hey, I got something going on, and not do his spot on the Pat McAfee show.
Okay.
You have that right to be able to do that.
And you can also edit your own podcast if you so choose. After you blurt, you could just say, you know what, that doesn't belong in there. But clearly he signed off, and I assume he knew Jim was going to go there,
right.
And yet you still got a little bit of a lashing back.
Knew, I would have effing done it already.
Right. And Jim was a little startled by the answer, and I've antagonized you with the question. You're scratching at me like you're picking at me.
Yes,
I guess that's what he's saying.
Yes.
You're scratching at an open wound, maybe, or a scab, and maybe it's starting to heal, right? Okay. To your points. First of all, Brady went on in the podcast to say there's a lot of decompression going on here, and you went through it a bunch of times. after a season you didn't love. It's just hard to come down from it for a while.
96, we lost to the Jags.
You lost to the Jags at home.
Yeah,
The
the divisional round, absolutely.
Okay, so how long does it take to like, I'm still rocked from just rooting for the Dallas Cowboys and getting rocked on Sunday night, right?
When the expectation's so high, I think there's probably one thing. Tom has never gotten over 2007, the 19-0.
Yeah.
He hasn't, well, I haven't gotten over 96. He probably not going to get over this season. Some things, Skip, when the expectations are so high, you never get over those. And even Skip, think about how many Super Bowls Tom Brady's won since then. Think about how many MVPs he's won since then. When I had it, was a year ago, 2 years ago when I had him on, I said, would you give away 2 Super Bowls to win that one? What did he say? Without hesitation. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I got it.
This expectations.
I got it. So he went on about decompression. He said, there's a real crash landing element to all this. And when you've been doing it as long as I have, there's no soft landings here.
No.
It ends and it is over. And as much as you'd love for something to be a little softer on the way out, it's just not the reality of this game we play.
Nope.
Because in the end, there's really only one happy team.
Yes.
And the deeper you get in the tournament, the unhappier you get.
Yeah, but I think the thing, Skip, there's a little saving grace, there's a little solace if I played well that season.
Yeah, okay.
You crash land, and then I didn't play well on the top of it. So you got to go that. So then now you're thinking in the back of your mind,
all right,
damn, was it me? If I had played better, what would the season have been?
Okay, so he said when he unretired, which was no surprise to me, I have unfinished business.
Correct.
It was the Rams game. It was last season. It was, here we go. We're going to do this. I was so taken by his new recommitment to it. I picked this team to win the Super Bowl, but I didn't see coming, and I don't think he did either, what was about to transpire. They finished 24th in pass block win rate. It won't work for him. He's 45 years of age. It's a recipe for disaster. They were dead last in running the football. It won't work for him. He needs a little bit of bodyguard in the offense.
Yeah.
He needs somebody to take a little bit of the heat off him. He finished dead last in play action pass rate because they were dead last in running the football. You can't play action when you have no threat of running the football. He finished with 15% play action rate, which was bottom of the barrel. But guess what happened? On the 15% he did play action pass, he finished #1 in the NFL in QBR because it's always been his best weapon, play action pass. He's been the maestro of it, right? Okay, so you couldn't do that.
Right.
Your receiving core as a group was finally graded in the end the 18th best receiving core because I believe he was banking on his buddy Gronk to come back. And I told you I was banking my prediction on Gronk to come back on November 1st. And then Gronk has been saying lately, yeah, I called and we talked, but they didn't have any money, and I need a little bit of money at this point to come back and go through that again. And it didn't click. So Brady winds up with 2 rookie tight ends. You like
K-Dot.
K-Dot. He's okay.
I think he'll be, he's a rookie.
He's a rookie. And he's not Gronkowski.
No, hell no.
And so they tried to replace AB with Julio, and he couldn't stay healthy. And Russell Gage was, I think he was a little bit of a disappointment for Tom. They never did click like they thought. So my point is, then he needed the defense to bodyguard him and have his back a little bit. And it finished middle of the pack because it couldn't rush the passer at all. And my quarterback went down there and threw the biggest Tampa Bay party on that defense you will ever see with a QBR of 97. It just didn't work. You can blame him and say he had a lousy year, and I can say he's just a product of everything around him went to hell because it basically just all went to hell all around you. Nothing worked anywhere remotely like it did 2 years before. Okay? You sank in every category, and you can argue he sank in his category. Okay? So he's humiliated. He's disgusted by it.
Absolutely.
And he hasn't gotten over it because there's a scab on the wound, but if you scratch at the scab, I'm going to F-bomb you because that was the real Psycho Tom who came out. That's the real guy.
But I think Jim knows him a lot better. I mean, obviously, Jim has seen this.
I'm going to say they're pretty close to being best friends.
Right. I think Skip, Jim knows him off camera, off air, so he knows he has these capabilities. But when you're Tom Brady, Everybody's not going to have the John Elway, where you win the Super Bowl, win Super Bowl MVP, and you ride off in the sunset. Or Jerome Bettis, the bus stays parked in Detroit, where you grew up and you win the, or Strahan, even Peyton Manning.
By the way, when John decided to retire after that Super Bowl, the one in Miami, I was like, what are you doing? Because you have a chance to do something nobody's ever done in the history of this league. And to this day, they still haven't done it.
Yeah.
It's to go 3 in a row.
Right.
It's just virtually impossible.
Right.
But you had a chance if he would come back. And he said no.
Yeah, the commitment that it requires to play that position, to play at that level. Obviously, the rules were probably, Skip, and, talking to John a little bit, he said probably if the rules were like they are now, maybe I would have come back.
Maybe take a shot.
But he came.
Were you crushed that he wouldn't come back?
Yeah. I kind of had a feeling because he was kind of hinting at it. John hated playing in the rain. And all week we had talked about rain, and he was on his mind. Skip, it stayed beautiful the whole week. The moment we get in the locker room after the game,
it poured. I remember I was there.
The heavens opened up.
They did.
He said that was a sign. That was a sign.
Yep.